So recently, I've been wanting to go back and explore the foundations of LEGO Star Wars, and I've just stumbled across a bunch of rare levels and gameplay you guys have probably never seen. In anticipation for the long-awaited LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which will seemingly be the greatest LEGO game ever made, I wanted to explore the series' roots. Where did all this come from? What made the original LEGO Star Wars games such classics? Well, it was early levels like these. Genre-defining stuff, innovation, core gameplay mechanics, and the drive by the developers to build these games in such a short space of time. Look at this level, you can compare this to the film. See, it's Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Maul behind the ray shields, and it's in LEGO. Same thing, same thing. Although, will the characters suffer the same fate? That's what we're about to find out. Alright, let's start with something I think is hard to believe. The footage you're seeing here might look familiar, right? Just walking around in the old LEGO Star Wars hub world, right? In the cantina. But something looks a little off. Colors are kind of strange, right? Might not be as you remember. Well, the footage you're seeing here isn't from LEGO Star Wars. This hub world was found in the game files for Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the movie tie-in game from 2005. Wait, what? But how? Why would a LEGO Star Wars prototype level be in a Narnia game? I guess they slipped it in through the Wardrobe somehow. You know, it's the one with the lion and Aslan and there's a witch somewhere, I don't know. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Well, that Narnia game was also developed by TT Games, the developers of the LEGO games. So somehow it found its way into the game files. Perhaps someone accidentally left it in there. They were building the games in the same engine at the same time. And that's another thing. TT Games only use in-house tools to make their games. You know how you hear about games being made in, Unreal Engine, Frostbite, Source Engine, and Unity, all those other stuff? TT Games use their own engine. They make it themselves. I don't think it even has a name that we know of. And that's why this was probably in the Narnia game. Just someone left it in there at the same time. But as far as we know, this is the oldest version of the hub world in existence. And as you can probably see, parts of it are quite different to what we're used to seeing in the final hub. But that core idea of using this as a hub for the rest of the game where you walk in and out of different doors and enter levels is right here. If you enter any of the doors, you can see that all we have are the foundations of what the game will become. Apart from that, it's pretty empty. Vacant. There's one door for each of the 3 prequel films, one for The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. But it's funny that the hub looks like the Mos Eisley Cantina rather than Dex's Diner, which was the hub in LEGO Star Wars 1, which is what this is supposed to be for. Obviously, the developers had the Cantina idea right from the start, but wanted to make this game feel more like the prequel, so I guess they decided to build Dex's Diner instead. The Cantina would return for LEGO Star Wars 2 and then the complete saga, which combined both of these games. But in the code for this, in the code for the original LEGO Star Wars, is a hangar door which would have led to the Millennium Falcon, which would have been part of the hub world, but that was scrapped. That was never in the final build of the game, unfortunately. Okay, now moving on to the next bit of footage. This is a prototype for LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, released in 2006. This is the earliest version of the hub we know of, and this was more fittingly found in the game files for LEGO Star Wars 2 rather than Narnia 2. And there's just another thing I want to note here. These games were built within the space of a year. Development of the original LEGO Star Wars started in 2004 and the game was released in 2005. LEGO Star Wars 2 began in 2005 and released in 2006. The speed at which developers could make games during the mid-2000s was incredible. Remember back then, most games didn't also have to add on multiplayer functionality and matchmaking, there weren't balancing issues, and graphics and textures had much less detail. So in some ways, things were easier. Imagine how defining was the original LEGO Star Wars. It changed the way LEGO games were made. It created the whole LEGO gaming saga. Imagine if a game like the original LEGO Star Wars was released today, people would say it has bad graphics, very little attention to detail, boring gameplay, archaic, even though none of those things are true and these games are still lots of fun to play more than 15 years on. Times have changed. But you can see how bare bones the interior of the LEGO Star Wars 2 hub looks. The lighting is very flat, hasn't really been worked on yet, and the outdoor section is completely unfinished. Look at how buggy the floor here is, just bouncing up and down. Up and down. There he goes. But if we compare it to this here, the final version that appears in the game, you can see how much has changed. There's lots more details, much more cinematic lighting, there's lots of other AI characters, and the outdoor section is bustling with AI and other objects to interact with. However, sometimes things don't change much from early prototypes. The Darth Maul ray shield scene was actually built a full year before the original LEGO Star Wars released in 2005. It was created as a prototype level, likely used to show LEGO executives and other people around these games what TT Games were capable of, possibly to also sell the game to investors and just give everyone an early idea of the potential of LEGO Star Wars. Not really a lot of changes here, apart from the incredible Duel of Fates music in the prototype, which for some reason isn't in the final version, unless the music is switched off. But what else is there? In the prototype, the floor is a little different. They haven't finished developing the force push mechanic to unlock the ray shields, and I think Darth Maul moves a little differently, and here in the final version you need to tag team with Obi-Wan to open the shield using the force at the same time, which introduces the co-op element into the game. Also, in the prototype you don't get to face Darth Maul at the end after doing all that, making it through the ray shields. The game just ends. Oh. Meaning Qui-Gon never dies. Whereas in the final version, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about Qui-Gon's fate. Oh. Now, this next level I want to show you is an unused section of the hub, which was only available in the PSP version of LEGO Star Wars 2. Check it out. Here in the PSP version, you can actually play the boss levels from LEGO Star Wars 1. The missions against Darth Maul, Count Dooku, and Darth Vader. They're included in this game as well. But on the PS2 version of LEGO Star Wars 2, if we walk into the same room with the Jabba the Hutt icon on the door, there are no boss levels, except we're greeted by Jabba himself. But you see, the doors are missing. Huh. Very strange, isn't it? Why would they even put the door here if there's nothing in this room apart from Jabba? Well, it's actually used for the bounty hunter missions, which were excluded from the PSP version. If you walk up to Jabba, you can access the 10 bounty hunter missions in the game. He's kind of like the menu for these, similar to the barman in the main cantina. You can access more through him. So, the PS2 has the bounty hunter missions, but not the LEGO Star Wars 1 boss battles, and the PSP has the boss battles and no bounty hunter missions. And to even access this room, you first need to unlock all the bounty hunters, otherwise you can't go bounty hunting. So, huge differences between the games. But on a modded PS2 version of LEGO Star Wars 2, you can actually see what this room would have looked like had the boss levels been included. That way we get both Jabba and the doorways to the boss battles. Now, it's likely that this version wasn't complete in time for release, so they decided to ship the PS2 version without the original LEGO Star Wars 1 boss battles and instead save them for the PSP version, which came out a couple of months later. But there's a lot of this kind of thing in games from back in this era, where different versions of each game released on different platforms would have major differences from one another. I know the Force Unleashed games were almost entirely different on, say, the PS3 and the Nintendo Wii, and games were reviewed separately for this exact reason. Now, I just want to thank the modder RogerRoger for sharing all this footage with me. I love seeing the behind the scenes of Star Wars games, and I'm really only just scraping the surface here of what's in these LEGO games. So if you want to go deeper, explore deeper, and check out more yourself, I'll leave a link to his channel down below. And if you enjoy these behind the scenes style videos, then you should go watch one of these videos here with some cool Jedi Fallen Order behind the scenes maps and more. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord for lots more Star Wars gaming news, LEGO Star Wars Skywalker Saga as soon as it's happening, and everything else. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.